Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Shaq here, and today I'm going on a trip with other Zontes owners. Yes, other Zontes owners. It's a very small community. All of the riders here are part of the small community of Zontes. They either had owned a Zontes bike before, or they are new owners of Zontes bikes like 368G, 703F. There's also T310 owners. We had a little outing. Every year they plan out this trip. Could be to Malacca, could be to KL, could even be to Thailand sometimes, or Terengganu. This trip though, we went to Desaru. So here we are riding with 21 to 25 other riders, if I remember correctly, to our first pit stop for breakfast or brunch, because it was quite a late breakfast at Kopi Tenggate at Tanjung Piai. What I realized about the other bikers is that they really had their bikes own stock or fully kitted out with fog lights and all that, which was nice to see. Other bikes of the same models, variants, with different colors, panniers or wrap. So the breakfast here, of course, some of them had a really heavy breakfast like here, and we just had a really fun chill time hanging out. And here our community president Tommy pasting the Zontes sticker. Of course, this is a need to do at every place. So after everyone had their late breakfast or brunch, we started to get ready. The sun was getting up high and hot to move off to our second location, which was at Tanjung Piai Trail Walk, which is basically located at the most western side of Malaysia. And because Desaru, from Singapore to Desaru is a short trip, the planner or the community planner that decided this trip decided to start our trip from Tanjung Piai all the way to Desaru, which is basically to say from west to east. The trail was nice. There was a lot of beautiful sceneries around. The pier was a very good spot to take photos. Of course, there were other tourists around there as well, but nothing much that we can handle. We just let the others took the photos, and then we all ambushed the area, as you can see. Of course, when we headed back to our bikes, we saw monkeys, and the media of the Zontes community, which is basically Rashidi and Nixon, stopped by and to take photos of the monkey. The monkeys here are not trained, they are wild monkeys, and we were advised by the people that took care of this area to keep a distance away from the monkey, because they were somewhat hostile to the tourists around here. Maybe because it's just their home and we are sort of invading it. So this was a drone shot taken by Roger. Very nice drone shot. And now we are heading to Desaru, which I might say was quite a long ride with 21 to 25 people, but it was an enjoyable ride. Much to see. There were so many sceneries when we passed all throughout the area of JB. Of course, there was a direct route from Tanjung Piai to Desaru, but we didn't want to take that approach. Instead, we took the B-roads to Desaru, and it was quite worth it because the amount of sceneries and houses and landscapes that you don't normally see in Singapore was available for you to enjoy during the ride. It was hot, as you can see. There was not a big cloud anywhere covering all of us, so we really enjoyed the rides. And of course, in the hot weather, the photos didn't justify how hot it was. And I really appreciate how Rashidi actually sped up in front of the group in advance to stop by the roadside to take our photos. And when I asked him how he managed that, he said, "Bro, I cannot see anything, bro. The display on the camera, I just guess and click and hope for the best." So we reached Jade Garden Seafood Corner at Desaru itself. We stopped for lunch, and it was a very hearty lunch, as you can see. Look at that seafood cereal. Oh my god, it was amazing how crispy and soft it was in your mouth. And of course, after having our lunch, we took a group photo and decided to head to Desaru Beach to enjoy and relax for a moment. So on the way there, it was full of windy roads, which we were careful not to speed because these roads are notorious to have sandy areas. So we went ahead to Desaru Beach without having any issues or any of that sort. So you can see here all of the riders that had joined us for today. So the reason why we head over to Desaru Beach and had a chill session, because on this particular ride there was a lot of newcomers or new joiners to the Zontes community, and the community leader decided that why not have everyone, including the old timers and the seasoned riders in the community, reintroduce themselves, so as to make the newer riders like me in the group and a bunch of others not have an awkward moment in the group. Even before they actually reintroduced themselves, I didn't really feel awkward. I felt very welcome. And here we have arrived at the Desaru Beach for the Lipa and chill session. And if I remember correctly, per entry was about 3 ringgit Malaysia, which our group leader at the point of time, Bruce, settled for 21 of us. And again, thank you, Bruce, for belanjaing all of us, which I didn't know at that point because as I recall, the other Desaru Beach where I've been through, there was an entrance fee for cars, but there was not for motorbikes. But I guess because we were in a group setting, all of us had to pay.
In September will be meet and makan session. I think that is Rashidi trying to come up.
I would like everyone to intro yourself.
Including
Again.
Again.
Hi, my name is Saidi. I'm the leader for today's ride.
And so after the Lipa, chill and icebreaker session we had at Desaru Beach, we started heading to our next location for dinner. Yes, dinner. Even though we had quite a late lunch, we had our lunch at about 1:30 to 2 p.m. Our dinner was actually scheduled nicely at 6. So we arrived at about 4-5 p.m, which was just nice. And here we are heading back to JB after having our dinner. I didn't record anything at dinner because dinner was quite short. It was not that long. It started showing signs of rain, but we were fortunate enough that it didn't start pouring or even drizzling even, because it was raining towards the eastern side of Malaysia, and we were heading back towards JB, which is the center point of Malaysia. So yeah, we headed back in dark. I know the video looks bright and all. That's because I'm using Insta360 X5 and it really lightens up the video. But I can say that riding in a convoy this dark at night with all of us combined, 21 bikes if I remember correctly, we literally light up the whole street. It started to look like a military coup was happening. Like all of the bikes, if I had a overhead shot, you would be shocked at how bright our bikes were, like compared to the surrounding areas. So we are heading to our first pit stop before we head back to JB to to conclude the ride session because some of them wanted to go back to Gelang Patah and some of us wanted to head to B point, which was at JB, center point of JB, to wash our bikes. So here it is. It's really dark actually. The camera really lighted up the scenery. So here, once we've decided who was going through Gelang Patah through Tuas and who was going through Woodlands, we actually split the bunch of people into two groups to ride separately to our two different destinations. Of course, here are all the final shots of the riders who were joined with us, who was at the front of the pack. And here we split up into two groups, like I've mentioned before. And before heading back to Woodlands, we went to our final pit stop to do our last refuel before we head back to Singapore. So that was all of the trip. There was a lot that I didn't record, of course, because I love to enjoy in the moment instead. And that's the end of the video. So see you guys in the next. Bye.